We're back. That worked out well this time, Lyle. We'll have to do that next time, too.
That works for me. I don't know what you've done, but woo, I like it.
I'll tell you later. That's some behind-the-scenes magic we do here on YouTube. Magic.
All right. You saved that for Halloween. It's coming up, buddy.
Yeah, no kidding. You like Halloween, Lyle?
No.
Yeah.
I can take it or leave it, just like most anything.
It's not too bad. I don't mind seeing the kids run around, but all I know is that I get my most joy out of making the ones that don't say trick or treat, say trick or treat. I don't know what it is, but that makes me happy. Almost as much as telling them to get off my lawn. That's
very enjoyable. We used to keep track of how many would show up every year. But we don't have as many as we used to have, and we don't have any kids, and grandkids are all so far away. We don't see them. So hell, we don't know any of them. You know, when they show up, we don't have any idea who any of them are. And it is what it is. They come by and we give them a handful of stuff, and they're out down the road motors, which works for me. And then we're out, we turn the damn light off.
Yep. I can understand that. When we first moved into the neighborhood, they were all new houses, right? So everybody was friendly with one another. Everybody wanted to introduce one another. And people slowly, we've been in this house, 27 years. Last Monday was our 29th anniversary. Congratulations to us.
Congratulations to you.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
But nowadays it's like, yeah, actually today I was out in the garage. I saw somebody walking their dog out past the house. I'm like, I have no clue where this guy even lives.
He probably don't even live in, he's looking for a place his dog can take a load off, and not in his neighborhood.
I was watching. I did like this to him. I'm watching you, mister. I guess I can't tell him to get your dog off my lawn, but I can't stop him if he poops on there.
My dogs do not go in other people's yards. Gidget has an electric collar on her. She don't get in the street. She don't chase cars. She don't go in the neighbor's yard to take a load off or whiz or none of that stuff. She does it all in my yard. Now, if her and I go out for a walk, and we do at times, she stays right beside me until we come to a field where there's no houses or anything going on, and I'll let her run out there and do her stuff. Then she comes back and she walks right beside me. And if I stop, she sits. If I walk, she walks. If I stop, she sits. That's the way a dog should be trained to handle. Well, the people that walk up and down the street that walk their dog, it doesn't matter whose yard you stop in front of. They'll let them, of course, they're on a leash. They'll let them go right out in the middle of the yard and take a load. And they don't go out and pick it up, or they just leave it there. They'll look at you if you're looking at them, and they'll wave and just keep walking.
Yeah, you know what? I don't mind if they're doing their business as long as the owners pick up. I don't care. And if they don't, I got like a container in the garage where Sheila puts all our Walmart plastic bags in there after we bring home groceries. I'll be like, hold on a second. I'll go grab them. I'll say, you must have left this at home, hand it to them. Where I used to holler and scream at them, but that got me nowhere. That just made me a lot of enemies.
I enjoy doing that though.
I know, but still. I'd rather have somebody, call the cops if someone's robbing my house than rooting the bad guy on. You know what I mean?
Well, that's very true. I do have something that I've been weighing heavy on my mind here for a lot of years. There's always been an ongoing thing with people, men and women living in the same house. Raise that toilet stool up. You'll dribble on the toilet seat. So for years after hearing that, the guy just becomes natural that he'll raise the toilet seat up. And then you get this, damn, you didn't put the toilet seat down. I raised the damn thing up. What do you want from me? Can't you see that it's up? So I've come to a conclusion that I know how to fix that problem.
Now, how's that?
Every house they build, they should put a urinal in. That way, you don't have to worry about raising that damn seat up.
If I ever win the lotto, Lyle, and I get that big,
you want a bidet, don't you?
What?
You want a bidet, don't you?
I'm not. No, but what? You obviously have me mistaken for Jerry Parker. I'm getting a shop in the back, and it's going to have a urinal right on the wall.
There you go.
Plain and simple. That'll be the sign right there.
Oh man.
What's the weather looking like by you, Lyle? Because I'm not liking it. I'm sick of winter already.
Dude, we had a 33-degree night last night. It got up to 60 today, or right close to it. It was beautiful outside. I sent you pictures. I didn't put them online or anything, about this tree that a big limb fell out. The tree, it's a dead elm tree, so I'm cutting the other limbs out, cutting them up, taking the wood to burn, put it in the pile in the back, and then hauling off the brush. And I only got like 5 limbs to cut out of it. Now I got quite a bit done. I'm paying the price. My back is a little tender from all that after the shots and stuff, but got a lot done today, and we'll get some. I'm not going to hit it quite as hard tomorrow because of that back deal. You know, beautiful day. You go out there. I had sweatshirt and sweatpants on. Got pretty hot running that chainsaw. I'm not going to lie, but it's going to be in the 70s, near 80 a couple days. But for the next 10 days, we got nothing but sunshine and beautiful weather.
I'm looking at 44 degrees right now, and I'm hoping to get out and fish tomorrow, but it's going to be 33 degrees in the morning. I might wait till the sun gets a little higher in the sky.
You're not in a rush, are you?
No, I'm not in a rush tomorrow. I went out yesterday fishing out on the chain. I fished this lake I've been wanting to fish for about 2 years. I got on a bunch of yellow bass, which are fun to catch, but not what I was looking for. But that wind was blowing at like 25, 30 miles an hour. It was hard to get on any fish. I'd find them and then they were gone. I might have an idea for a video on how to find them if I can get back out there in time. We'll see how this weather and my old bones hold up before we do that. But I highlighted this here because Benoit Fishing Outdoor says our wiener dog hates the snow too. Can't blame the fella when you're that low to the ground. Mine used to have 2 sets of paw prints and a trail right in between it when it used to run.
That's the way mine was, at least a 5 tracker.
I would go out there and I'd make trails in the whole backyard with a shovel for the dog. It was so low to the ground. So
years ago, we was taking care of my mother up at her house, and she had a step that was about 3 foot off the ground if you went off the end of the step, not down the stairs. And poor old Rusty, he's gone now, but he walked out there and walked off, went straight down about 3 foot through the snow, had a drift next to the house. It was hilarious. I looked down there. He's looking up like, "Come on, Dad, get me out of here." They're such cool dogs. They really are.
Danny's got a little comment here for you, Lyle. He says, I believe in treating women equal. If I can lift the seat up, she can put it down.
I contend that's exactly the way it should be done, Danny. If I got to go to all the trouble raising it up, you should take pride in yourself and put it down if you're worried about it. Because I have had the benefit of not having it down in the middle of the night. Ain't nothing worse. I swear to God, there's nothing worse than hitting that water with your ass. It's horrible.
Jerry Parker says, great thing about living in the country, just step outside and do your business when you have a house full of girls.
Well, if you got a house full of girls, you have to step outside. You don't never get a shot at the bathroom anyway.
And if the garden hose is hooked up, you got your bidet outside, Jerry.
There you go.
Aren't you glad someone's not here to be doing this reel-in stuff for us, Lyle?
Chad would be going crazy. He'd burn the bearings out of that pin reel. Oh, man.
Bugman, he says, I pee off the deck at least 3 times a week.
I have been known to go up behind my shed when I'm mowing the grass and stuff. I mean, you don't want to track up the house and do all that. And I have a shed, and it's mine, and I can do with it as I want.
Well, you know, I've been getting urinal ads on Facebook through Home Depot. We can get you one ordered, get your card out. We'll mount it to the side and just pipe it right out the side of the shed.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to do that probably, but you know, it's kind of funny anyhow. So.
All right. So, yeah, I went fishing yesterday. It was a struggle. I was out for like 3 hours. Didn't get out until like noon. I finally called it after fighting with those winds and then 40-degree temps. It was kind of rough.
Yeah.
So hence here we go, fishing colder weather, aka winter fishing. But up here, winter fishing's got a totally different meaning than down by you, Lyle, don't it?
Yeah, it really does. And I'm guessing out of the last 10 years, we've probably had snow 5 or 6 times that amounted to anything, and iced over 2 or 3 times. That's about it. Most of the time, with any luck at all, we can fish all winter long down here. And Eric Massey's a good friend of both of ours. He lives over in Bolivar, which is about, I don't know, 20 minutes from me. And he's the same way. Him and I've talked about that before. If we get ice and stuff, it don't last very long. The sun will come out and shine, and it'll be 50 degrees, and the ice is gone, and you're right back to going out doing whatever you want to do. Of course, he's fishing for crappie and walleye and stuff like that, and I'm either going after bluegill most of the time in the winter. I'm going after catfish, and man, they're so good in that cold water. And these lakes down here, Mark, Truman Lake Ozark have blues, channels, and flatheads, but Palm de Terre and Stockton, they're basically what they have is channel cats and some flatheads. No blues to speak of, if any, in either one of those 2 lakes. But you can drag baits for them channels just like anything else.
Yep, I've done it many a time.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm a firm believer in fishing what's available to you.
that's right.
You can only travel so much in a year, and with the cost of fuel / gasoline, it gets harder and harder. Some people, budget in more trips than others, but when you got bills and stuff to pay, it's understandable. I just had this talk with the wife. I'm gonna try and get out a little bit more next year, so we'll see what happens. So,
well, if the election goes the way we all hope it does, and maybe we can get that $1.80 a gallon gas back.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell.
That's right.
Counting any chickens before it hatches, or even if it does hatch, who knows what it's going to grow into? It could turn into a vulture. You don't know.
That's true.
I've lost. Well, without getting into it. So right there, look at that. Wabash Nate can get us 10% off on that urinal for your shed, Lyle.
What a deal! What a deal!
We may be contacting you, Nate.
Yeah, you never know.
What do you say? I say hello to everybody, Lyle.
Let's do that.
We got Benoit Fishing in the house. What's going on, Benoit Fishing Outdoors? How you doing, Gabby and Allison? Buck Williams, how you doing, Buck? Butterflies and Sunshine. Hello, dear. There's channel member Crappie Day Darren. What's going on? Calvin Lassiter. Welcome, Calvin. I think that's a new name. I could be wrong. The legend himself, Danny Stone Outdoors. Danny, I hope you're feeling better, buddy. I can understand how you're feeling. Lance McCougai in the house. There's Tom over at LG Bass. He's been having some luck on the dock, if I recall correctly. There's our buddy Jerry Parker Pursuits. How you doing? Wabash Nate's going to get us that discount on that urinal of yours. Fishing with Jeff Beal. Jeff sent me an image of him going, like a promo image of a live he's doing this. What is it? Satan Chat, either Friday or Saturday at 6:30. So keep an eye out for Jeff's live this weekend. If you're not subbed to his channel, go on and check it out.
I seen that he was going to do that. Yep.
Want to make sure we support everybody who's out there. There's 205 Wild Action in the house. He's a channel supporter. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I think I got everybody who's chatting. Hello to everybody else who's watching in the background.
Calvin says, good evening, fishing friends. It's cool in northeastern North Carolina. Well, I hope you're safe from all the hurricane action that's come through down there. And we all need to be saying prayers for all the people in Florida and North and South Carolina and all that stuff. So Jeff says it's Saturday night. There was another.
Real quick, speaking of prayers, Lyle, Chad, our beloved Chad Fields, had asked for some prayers for his brother today on Facebook. I think his brother is home and okay.
So yeah, he is now, but he was in some dire need, so we need to keep him in there.
100%.
Chad might not be able to catch a fish worth a damn, but Dee can, and I think that's her favorite brother-in-law. So we need to make sure that we don't want anything to happen to that family. Them some good people, and we want them to have everything go right. Here's the other comment I was eyeballing. It's Mike Irwin says, "Hey y'all, Walmarting and listening." That's some. That's pretty cool. Go to Walmart and listen to Panfish Nation.
Mike, my condolences, my friend.
Yeah, just have to go to Walmart.
Not
He's
for
probably, I bet Dockery's in Walmart right now.
that could be butterflies and sunshine. I think I did say hello to you, but just in case I missed you, dear. Right there, Saturday, October 19th. Jeff and any fish and Kevin fishing the Scullyville at 6:30. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that.
Cool.
And I saw Joe Buck pop in here. I don't know if I said hello to Joe Buck channel member. It's always good to see you, Joe. How you doing, bud?
Glad to have him in here. LG Bass is here. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time, and I don't keep track of it all, unless some of these guys every once in a while will call me up or message me and say, "Hey, can you help us out? We're doing this on such and such day." And sometimes I do, and it depends on what it is,
Mm-hmm.
But if you do them all, that's all you'll be doing. You know what I mean? But thanks, Greg. Good to see you in chat. You and I used to do a lot of that, and not as much anymore. And I don't know if that's the reason or not, but everybody's got new friends and different things that goes on, and it's just a circle that as it kind of turns.
Everybody calls me old. I'm going to take advantage of it and blame it on my old age, Lyle. Plain and simple.
I agree. A lot of the stuff that some of these people have asked me, I don't agree with. I don't agree with either what they're doing or the reason behind it or something. And but at least they're honest enough to tell me, and I appreciate that.
100%. I do understand.
But besides that, I like to go fishing sometimes.
Kevin Kaplan says, "Don't mind the cold weather as long as the wind isn't up. Cold wind cuts through you worse the older you get." 100%, Kevin.
That is true. More. That is true. Winter used to be my favorite time of the year, Mark, not just for fishing, but I used to go to Colorado and elk and deer hunt and all over the place. That was a big deal to me when hunting season come around. We hunted squirrels and rabbits and deer and coyotes, and if it walked and moved, I'd shoot it. Didn't matter. Still don't too much, but Anyhow, I rarely do any of that anymore. I get cold where I didn't used to. I'd stand out cold all day, and it didn't really bother me too much if I had enough clothes on. But now sometimes I can't get enough clothes on. So we get in a boat. If it's really cold, take a heater and don't stay out as long. But that is not as enjoyable as it once was. So I just like prettier days and calmer weather and do what I want to do.
Cool evenings are my thing. Not cold, cool. Like in the lower 70s with a slight breeze to keep the bugs off you, and I'm a happy man.
Yep.
100%. But I can't afford that where I live all year, so I got to make do with what's due. I mean, we could go into like clothing and stuff. Maybe we'll do a show like that once the ice starts or
it's a good idea.
The starts blowing like we do every year. We can come up with some new products and stuff. But right now with this weather chart changing, it's constantly in the lower 40s here during the day and in the 30s at night, and that's really making the water temps plummet. I was out on the lake yesterday, and that water was like 62 degrees already. I was finding and a part of this cold water fishing is knowing where the fish are going to go and how the lakes turn and such, which they do twice a year. So keeping up with all of that information, you definitely can. I'm no biologist. We could probably get Co in here to tell us a little more about that one of these days. It'd be nice to see him.
Yeah, it would be. I know he's real busy in school. God bless him. He's the most knowledgeable. I know a lot of marine biologists and people that do that type of work through our Missouri Department of Conservation, but I don't know of anybody that's as knowledgeable as that man. He knows a lot and is in school to make himself more knowledgeable than he already is. And I hope he gets a job somewhere around me when he finally gets done with all of his degrees, because he's going to make a huge difference in some organization.
You know, not only does he have the book smarts, he puts it in practice. So there's a big difference. It's somebody who reads books about fixing cars and somebody who actually fixes them. There's a big difference in the two. So
that's exactly right. I noticed that Chrissy Brown is in here.
Hi, Chrissy. I was going to get her to her next, definitely.
I seen a picture where Ernie Brown is building him like a Taj Mahal deer blind. Very nice, big, roomy. It ought to be awesome. But Chrissy, I think that you need the combination to the lock on the door. That way, when he's out of line, you can throw him in there until you see fit for him to come back out. And at that point, he will be needing that urinal.
I was just going to say, I got a plan for that thing. Mount it right to the wall. Be good. We're thinking alike, aren't we, Lyle?
We are thinking of taking care of poor old Ernie.
Everybody keep Ernie in your prayers. He's been having some health issues too. We want to make sure he gets better.
He is, yeah. What a great guy. Him and Chrissy are awesome.
And on Chrissy's channel, speaking of which, this earlier that day on October 19th at 5 p.m., I think that would be Eastern time, Eric B is doing a wing challenge fundraiser on Chrissy's channel. Now, I heard them talking about it. I was kind of watching a couple lives.
Wish I could attend that.
I don't know if I could keep up with them guys. They're ringers. They're saying minimum.
It's worth a try, though.
Minimum 25 wings. You think you could eat 25 wings, Lyle?
I think I can. Yeah, I think I can.
I'd get sick. I'd probably get sick. So.
Oh no, I love wings. That's as far as I'm concerned. That's the only part of chicken that's fit to eat. I can eat a thigh too, but wings they're the best, no doubt about it.
I don't mind chicken so much. I'm not a big turkey fan, to be honest with you, but that just comes. Oh my God, Thanksgiving's coming up. I can't.
You know what the best part of turkey is?
The stuffing.
No, the leftovers. You make turkey noodle soup out of it.
This is true.
I do like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, there's David from Double Hook Angling too. Joined us.
We're glad to see Dave in there tonight. I messaged him for some information today or yesterday, whenever it was, and he's trying to help me out with it. I'm looking for something that's not available. Imagine that. Greg Burgess says, I know if you are talking about it will be 71 next month. Will be 71. Oh, he's going to be 71. Old bones ache and can't hardly move. I'm going to tell you, Greg, been cutting that tree limb down and them limbs off the tree. And then I can now bend over to actually pick that stuff up, where before I couldn't after I got them shots. But it doesn't take very many times you bend over, and you got to sit down on the fender of that trailer and take a little break. If you're not careful, you have to walk in there in the garage and lean back in that chair like one of these that's in there and have a siesta. You know.
I know.
Okay.
I know. My wife will come down. I'll be out in the garage. I like to sit out in the garage and just watch life go by, go out in the neighborhood or whatever. And a lot of times my wife will come outside and be like, I've been calling you for 20 minutes, not knowing where you're at. Now here I find you sleeping away in your chair right in the garage. And I say, I can't help it. I don't know. Danny Stone says, getting old and losing my hearing saves my butt daily at work. They ask me if I had something done, and I say, what? They usually just walk away and say, never mind.
Danny also says he will be 59 on Thanksgiving Day.
Danny's older than me. I love knowing that these people are older than me, Lyle, because then when they call me old, I can say, but I'm not as old as you. Stan, too. He's older than me.
Nate, there's always shrimp. There's always shrimp. I had some shrimp the other night.
Yeah, he sent me a picture on Monday night. He's like, look at this. It's shrimp at a Mexican place.
It was really good.
What was I eating? What was I eating that night, Lyle?
That raw fish.
Sushi, my friend. Oh,
yeah, I ain't doing that. That's fish is meant to be fried in lots of grease.
Man, if we ever get together, I'm going to take you out for some, and I'm going to change your mind.
No, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
That's like saying, "Oh, you're going to take me out and show me how good drum is." I know that sounds nasty.
Well, I don't eat drum either, so that's
terrible.
There's a few
People that eat that stuff can't actually eat anything. No doubt about it.
I can't disagree with that. See what Parker has to say. It says water is cooling off enough for the river where they are hitting shad. Won't be long before they start moving to wintering areas.
I will tell you, Mark, that I was out last week, took the boat out. I had a little problem with the battery, so I need to take it back out as soon as I can and make sure that everything's okay. Shad was schooled up in the coves. You could, if you have a set of polarized sunglasses, you can stand on the front deck with your trolling motor down and watch the schools. They're just dark spots in the water, big around as this room is, and either move to them or just sit still. And some of them will come right by you and just throw the net on top of it. Let all of them out that you don't want and put the rest of them in your bucket. You're good to go. I hadn't seen shad, that many big schools of shad, since last winter until last week.
I haven't been able to get to a spot to try for any shad yet this year, but what I would normally do is if I'm looking for shad, it's usually at daybreak or at right at sundown, and I look for the little shimmer in the water. I can see, because we just have gizzard shad here. They're nice and shiny, and you can see the reflection off of their scales, especially that time of night. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Of course, I'm fishing a lot, or I'm looking for shad in a lot different water than you. It's super shallow. I'm finding them in like 2-3 feet of water, so they're pretty close to the surface to begin with. So that helps 100%.
These shad was. There wasn't jumbos, but they're about that long. Just, get 3 or 4 pieces of bait off of them. If you throw the tail away, if you want, I have learned a valuable lesson. Everybody's always throwing tails away. I've been using them and get just as many bites on the tail as I do any other piece. I got tired of cutting bait up one day, and there's 3 or 4 tails there, and I started using them for bait, and they was hitting them. I was catching as many fish as anybody else. And I thought, hell, it's silly to throw them things away. I'm using them, and I still do it every. Joey Kirby's the one that every time he'd go to grab bait, whoever he's fishing with was using the head in the center section. All was ever up there, he's cutting bait all the time. Only thing was ever left was the tails. So he started using them, and he made a deal out of how many fish he was catching on them. I thought, well, hell, Joey can catch them on a tail. I can too. And sure enough, I'll not throw them away anymore.
Yeah, I hold on to them too. I've had days where I was dragging baits for channel cats, and the baits that got bit the most were the tails. That being said, I make a conscious effort to when I'm cutting the bait up to cut in front of the, how do I say it, the tutor or the rooter, the flute, the bunghole, know, the deeder spot. To make sure that I get that extra scent in there, and usually there's enough. I don't know what it is, but the channel cats do like it. They'll eat almost anything.
Yeah, that blues too. Chad has made it in here. Chad, we was just wishing your brother the very best a few minutes ago. Glad to see you made it in here tonight to play around with us. We're really wishing your brother the very best, and your rest of your family too. So thanks for joining us, buddy. Yeah, Terry, I would rather have gizzard shad than threadfin too.
They use threadfin, so I couldn't make the comparison.
They don't get as big as gizzards either.
Well, the gizzard shads, if I get the small ones, I have no problem doubling them up on there. If I'm using them dead, which is most of the time, I do slice them open, try to get a little more scent out, but I do get them on a hook. And a lot of people have made comments to me about how I wrap my no-knot snells, and that's the reason why. I'll put 14 to 20 wraps on mine, Lyle, so I can get that shad up there that's soft, that those extra snells will hold on to that shad a little more if you slide the bait over onto the actual wraps on the hook.
Really?
That seems to hold them on a little more. So that's just my experience.
I had too many of them come loose, sitting, waiting for me to use them in bags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I quit using it. no knot, snell knot. I snell mine a different way. They don't ever come loose that way.
Yeah, I've seen Doc do a video. I think or Roger posted a video of Doc Lang doing them where there's like a hoop that he puts around. I'd have to go back and do it. But you got to remember though too, I'm fishing for, not as big a fish as what a lot of people are. I've never had a no knot give on me either way, and I use them quite a bit. That's pretty
the only way I never keep them from not coming undone was to put super glue on them. What's the point? Just tie a different knot and be done with it. Now I will say this, Mark, if you're using regular leader material, I don't know what the difference in leader material and regular monofilament is. Leader material does not do that, but regular monofilament, and I've got huge spools of it, 60 and 80 pounds. I'm going to use it until it's gone. And it works perfectly fine for leader material. And, it doesn't give me any trouble. Like I say, I just use a better knot.
Yeah, I use the Sufix leader material. I order that stuff I think they're like 30 yard long spools. They got the nice dispenser spool that works pretty good. That's what I have sitting in the garage
That's all they come in, 30 yards.
I don't quote me on that. I could be wrong though.
Man, I don't buy nothing unless it's big.
Well, we know that, and so does MasterCard, Lyle.
It was
Chances
Visa.
use the right line, and you'll never have an issue with the no knots.
It was Visa.
Oh, Visa, sorry. Lance McCouguy, what's going on, Lance? I saw him sneak in too. Who else snuck in here besides Chadwick? Lisa Elliott, what's going on, Lisa? How you doing, dear?
Hopefully, Lance still catching the salmon.
I know he's been going out. I think he's had a little. Oh, Brian B, there he is. Brian B, what's up, buddy? I think he's been out a few times. I don't know if he's caught anything yet. I'm sure we would know, but if not, though, sometimes some years are worse than others. Like this year, I'm having a rough year fishing. I'm not getting skunked at all. I think I had one skunk so far in the boat, but other than that, it's still been kind of rough. So next year we'll just adapt and overcome. So
yeah, what?
There's David, double hook angling.
Yeah. I think it's the line that causes that.
Could be.
And I've even tried holding the hook with a pair of pliers and double wrapping it around my hand and making it really tight. And in a day or two, it starts unwinding. So I just quit using it. Blue's talking about cold weather and bluegill fishing and panfish and stuff. When these fronts move in, a lot of time them fish move, Mark.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
They get tighter to structure, and if it's available to them where they have structure in deeper water, a lot of times that's where they'll go.
This is what I've learned about winter fishing. Bluegills are going to go on. They're going to gravitate not only to wind-blown banks, but let's say, like, for instance, where I was fishing yesterday, it was a big, like I said, pothole lakes, which means it was a big bowl, not very big. It had to been, I don't know, maybe just 50 acres in size. It wasn't very big. But off to the one corner on the windblown side, there was a hump. It went from 8 feet to 4 feet. Now, the bluegill were blown into that area right there. They were standing still. Another thing that I've learned about like cold weather fishing is the perch. They're going to be deep. If you're fishing in a lake, go to the deepest spot of the lake, start there and work towards the steepest incline on that lake. Obviously, they don't react as much to the wind because they hug the bottom most of the time. You do well there. Crappie is a waiting game. Catch them and stay there and wait for them because they're on the move. They're moving to their basins right now. They're getting ready, at least up here north with the water temperatures dropping. They're going to be feeding on stuff like bugs off the bottom and that for the next few months. And from the looks of it, they're starting to do so. I got some little crappie yesterday, and that was only after I switched from shad looking baits to like a waxworm type hand tie that I do. And that was the only thing that I could get them to bite. And they were all like too small to keep. So those are, kind of what I stick to in this cold weather. That and and we've said this how many times, with the weight on the bottom, what's it called? Drop shotting too, because they're going to be a little bit deeper. You're going to want to learn to drop shot, learn to tie them. Go like I got to do. I got to go find my drop shot weight somewhere in the garage. That's for sure. I don't know where
mine's in my truck.
What'd you say, Lyle?
Mine are in my truck. I know where mine's at.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to buy me some more.
Jerry Parker has another comment. Says, never had a no-knot snell yet, but I'm not using dinosaur tendons for fishing line like Lyle. Well, Jerry, you had to be using them or you wouldn't know what it was.
Jerry ties no-knot snells while he's on his bidet.
Alrighty then. If he's got one, I bet he's enjoying it.
Now, my no-knot snell, since we're back on that topic, I'll tie the no-knot snell onto my hook, and I use, since I do a lot of live bait fishing, Lyle, I use a double surgeon's loop at the end of my leader material, and I use that with like 160-pound saltwater swivel snap rather than just a barrel swivel. So I can take the live bait off while it's still on the hook, off my line, and throw it into the live well or into my beloved Whisker Seekers live bait shack, which I like a lot. And then I can make a move that way. What I'll do then is once the no-knot snell is tied, I'll hoop the line over onto itself and put that no-knot snell loop over the hook and pull it tight that way. And I got in the habit of doing that with every snell before I put it away, and I have like all the cuts and scars on my fingers from doing so.
Right, I understand.
That's just what I do. If I wore some gloves, it wouldn't be a problem, but I'm too old and stubborn for that.
Yeah. David Double Hook Angling says, after you tie a no knot, if it wants to come untied, tie it again and dip it in hot water. That makes sense.
It does.
When I was using them all the time, this right here is what I used.
Super glue?
Gorilla super glue.
I got a couple of those. Now, super glue, I get those little single-use bottles that you can buy. You get like a pack of 4 from the hardware store.
Yep.
I usually keep a couple of them in my tackle box.
I have one in my tackle box right now, one on my bench out in the garage, and one right here. If
if I'm on like a lot of white bass, which I'll get this time of year is white bass season around these parts, they'll tear up a plastic bait and rip it off your jig head like nothing. Pull that jig head off of the plastic just a little bit, put a little drop of that super glue on there, and it'll last you a heck of a lot longer. Not concerned, just pointing it out to people. I'm not going to read that out loud, Jerry Parker. The guy who gives me grief all the time. I'm finally starting to give him grief back. And look at it, getting off the fence.
Dave says drop shot big night crawlers for crappie. That makes sense to me.
I nose hook plastics when I'm drop shotting. That seems to work for me.
Hey, Slick, welcome to the chat, buddy. Glad to see you in here tonight.
How you doing, bud?
I hope they get your lake fixed so you can get back on some bluegills one of these days. I know it's out of water. I've been following your posts that you make on that, and I feel sorry for you. But I know that you're doing other things too. So thanks for stopping in tonight.
So what are some of the baits that you like using in cold water, Lyle, besides night crawlers?
I used a lot of that Gulp Live because I still want to have the one day where it really, really shines. Of course, hand ties is the thing that I use most of all. But I've got something here that I ordered in, and I'm excited about trying these little goobers. I don't know how good they'll show up, but they're little plastics crawlers. And I'm really excited about them. I think not only bluegill, crappie will eat them, small bass, anything that's in that water where I fish. I think these will be a hot item right now, especially since the temperatures drop and them babies are going to slide down into a little deeper water. I think anything that's right off of the bottom will work. The tube jigs are also a great option this time of year. I know a guy that uses, and you do too, uses them year round. He
Yep.
loves them. I don't have that kind of luck with them, kind of like the Gulp minnows. But this time of the year, they got a lot of action. And that's the reason why I think some of the hand ties work so well, is because they have a lot of action. And if the fish are close to the bottom and you put them on a bigger jig head, it's on the bottom, just bouncing along there. You should be able to slay them.
That being said, I think at least what brings me the most luck or is just presenting that bait to the fish as close to the fish as you can get. The longer you keep that bait in front of them, which a drop shot affords you to do, especially in windier conditions, which this time of year is pretty much known for all over the country. If you can keep them bait right in front of them, and you're not like a vertical jigging expert like Dockery or SK or whatever, it takes some practice and some talent to be able to hold the bait steady. You know, a float, a drop shot, things like that work really well for the rest of us. So,
Dave at Double Hook Angling says wax worms on hand tied jigs. Just tip the end of your hook with them. They will work good. Also, I know guys that swear by crappie nibbles. Again, that's something a lot of people have success with. I really don't, but if they're working for you, they're working. I use a piece of Nightcrawler a lot of times if I'm really struggling to get them to go, and sometimes that makes a difference. Jerry Parker says, have done really well in the cooler months with a black hair jig or panfish. Think it looks like a dragonfly nymph or some kind of larva, and that it could very well be, Jerry. Danny Stone says he's used a lot of crawfish lures a lot. They are deadly on smallmouth bass. Them and rock bass, the waters I've been fishing this summer have been full of them things.
Lyle, you know, those crawfish baits that you got there, you know what they're going to catch. And you know what you're going to catch when you start catching them fish.
Bluegill, I hope.
They're going to catch you some bass, and you're going to catch some hell for it.
Yeah, oh yeah. The other day, I was out and I was catching some bluegill, and I don't know if it was Josh or Dockery or who said, "Where's the picture of the bass?" Well, I couldn't kid them none. I had caught one earlier, took a picture of it, so I sent it to them too.
Somebody's been talking to Cindy, I think.
Oh man, the bass has really been something this year for, especially the rock bass, and they got them red eyes, and I find them very pretty to look at. But I think to get a Missouri Master Angler Award, you have to have one that's 10 inches long. And I'm sure I caught one like that last year, but didn't realize that it had to be 10 inches. But this year, 8 and 9 inch ones is about all I've got. But I know there's a 10 incher out there with my name on it. I just
You'll get it.
Oh yeah,
get you one of them awards. Speaking of, well, not rock bass, but maybe somebody in chat, has anybody eaten a warmouth? Because I got a message today from Betty and Brandon. They had caught some beautiful, like, I don't know if they're pumpkin seeds or what, but they're down there, I think on in Kentucky, fishing on Kentucky Lake, and they've been getting on some really nice panfish just because the weather's been kind of windy and bad out there on the big lake, so they've been staying in the coast. But they got a warmouth. They said they were going to eat it, and I was like, I don't think those taste very well. So
I never ate one that I can remember. They make pretty good flathead bait.
They do. Catfish Weekly, coming spring of 25.
What is wrong with him?
Slick says, I use nibbles faithfully. Yeah, I know a lot of people who do. I've had a lot of good luck with nibbles, Slick, but ever since I won a jar of that the crappie scent from SK, I've been using that pretty religiously.
SK used to use crappie nibbles a lot.
Yeah, I use that smelly jelly. I like it. I
don't know if he still does or not. Brian sent us over something to watch after the show. There was something else I wanted to.
If it's Brian, he's probably sending me pictures of food.
I hope so. I'm hungry. Cold weather fishing is my favorite time to keep fish to eat. Oh, absolutely. To me, they're much better out of cold water. I agree, they are better. I don't know how much better, but they are better. It seems to me like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't see the blood in the meat like I do in warmer water. And like I say, that may just be me.
That being said, it's funny that you mention it. Last week when I caught those few crappie, I think I got like 6 crappie, nice keeper sizes. I caught a ton of smalls that I didn't bother keeping. But I also got a channel cat. I'm like, well, this one looks nice and clean. It was smooth, didn't have the bumps. It was a perfect size, had to been maybe like 3 pounds. So I took it home. I went to flay that sucker, and Lyle, I've never seen a fish so gnarly and nasty below the skin in my life. It had blood all the way through the meat. The meat was kind of mealy, all of this stuff. I was kind of surprised to.
And what was it?
Channel cat, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that just came to memory. Jerry Parker says warmouths are delicious. He's a drum eater too, though.
Well, yeah, he is. They said he made enchilada soup for dinner. Don't sound too bad.
And Slick says smelly jelly works great in the cold weather. Yeah, that stuff don't come off for nothing.
Yeah, Jerry says the rock bass and goggle eye, which are the same thing, are serious decline in creeks around him since the spotted bass have moved in. Well, I'm sure there's spotted bass in the water that I fish. I haven't caught any yet, but all I've been catching is small eye, but mostly rock bass. There's a lot of them, and they're fun. Man, they are a blast to catch. I've been catching most of them on fly rod. So everything you catch on that fly rod's a lot of fun.
I was catching a lot of rock bass when I was up in Minnesota when I was a kid at I think it's Lake Winnebegoshish. Forgive me if I've said that wrong, but that's the mouth of the Mississippi where the Mississippi headwaters are. And that was just loaded with those rock bass up there. I don't remember us keeping any to eat, though. So
I've heard they're really good. I haven't ate one yet. Like I say, I'm not targeting them. I'm trying to catch bluegill. But if I get one that's 10 inches, I will send in for the Master Award. I forget about that whenever I catch a good fish, and I don't take the pictures and measure them. But for some reason, I've been catching so many of them, it's on my mind all the time.
I like Lance's comment here. It says, if it doesn't eat me first, it's good to eat.
I got to go with that.
You'd be surprised.
I got to go with that, yeah.
Be surprised. I bet you Lyle would eat sushi if he was hungry.
I don't know about raw fish. Don't interest me. My kids love it though.
David over at Devil Hook Angler says, I'm going to have to buy me some of that smelly jelly. That's pretty good stuff.
I've heard good things about it. You and I've talked about it a lot, but there's some other people that told me it works for them too. And if it's working for more than one person, it's probably working. The guy that says, well, it never worked for me. Maybe that kind of fish that he's after don't have it in his water. That's what I always contended about. Guys saying, are you catching any of this kind of fish or that kind of fish? I said, no, I'm not. Well, maybe they're not in my waters. Because as much as I go out to some of these places, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week, other times not so much. But when I go out there that much, if it's in there, you would think I would snag one once in a while.
Nubby says those spotted bass are very aggressive and will eat anything. That's what the yellow bass here are like that. If there's a bait in the water, they're going to beat all the fish you're looking to catch to it like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
You got to beat them off your line if possible. Oh my God. Now someone's going to edit that out. Thank goodness.
Jerry says usually always release creek bass except for spotted bass. They go in Lake Briscoe. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Lance says sushi isn't just raw fish now. Sashimi is raw fish. I agree.
Yeah, I'm about nothing like that. I ain't taking a chance. It'd be like cutting up a drum and eating that nasty sucker raw.
We've seen J-Dog eat raw shad.
He ain't the only one. One of the Art did, yeah. I'm telling you, anybody that watched that could hear the bones crunching when he bit in that thing.
I remember that.
It was horrible. I
Yeah.
nearly got sick watching him put that, because I know what them suckers smell like. They're nasty.
I got a couple of scales on a breakfast bagel one day when I was out fishing. Oh my God, Lyle! I thought I was going to have to throw that whole thing out. Nasty, nasty, nasty stuff.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I thought, Art, there's something wrong with you. But he did catch a great fish that day.
He did. I think I remember J-Dog telling me too that the minnows tasted worse than the shad actually did. So
how is that possible?
I don't know, but I'm not going to find out. I'm not doing.
Yeah,
I'm not doing the Pepsi challenge of bait. No, thank you.
Him and somebody else wanted to do a deal like that. You know, a fishing contest, and if you lost, you had to bite the head off the shad. I said, I'm telling you right now, win, lose, or draw, I ain't biting the head off no shad. It is never going to happen.
Oh,
Lance. I hope you've quit drinking since then.
I hope you drank a hell of a lot more to kill the worms that were in there.
Well, it would take twice as much to get the taste out of your mouth. Oh, I can't imagine doing that. I just can't.
Danny Stone says fishing in Florida last year, bought raw shrimp for bait. Tried one of them and ate half my bait sitting on the beach.
Well, now that's shrimp.
But
I don't classify that as bait. But I do like it cooked. A lot. I like it a lot.
David says, you eat raw freshwater fish, you better be doing a parasite worm detox.
I'd say that's right.
Nebby says, I use every spotted bass I catch for flathead bait. That's good bait right there.
I would think it would be. I'm not allowed to use it here. I looked it up the other day because there's so many fish in the state of Missouri that's classified as game fish, which if a lot of these other states would take heed to that, right, your congressman, we would be a lot better off. And anything that has a bass name in it, you can't use for bait in the state of Missouri. Rock bass, goggle eye, those spotted bass, anything, nothing that says bass.
There's no bass in ditch pickle.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an official name.
Oh.
But it'd be worth a try if you got caught, I guess. But yeah, the bluegill, even though classified as a game fish, is the only one that I'm aware of in the state of Missouri. Of course, Doctor will probably pop in here in a minute and tell me there's another one or two, but that's the only one I know of that you're allowed to use in Missouri as bait. All the rough fish, any kind of carp or anything like that is allowed, which is good. Carp is good bait because it's so bloody. Don't ever throw a piece of it that's got the backbone in it away. That's where all your blood content is. But yeah, all the rough fish are, and I know, like in Oklahoma and places, other places, you're allowed to use channel cat for bait. I don't agree with that. If you can't use one of them nasty old bass, why would you be able to use a channel cat? Harder to fight fish, better looking.
They don't like catfish, apparently.
Most places don't. They consider catfish rough fish, and I do not understand that at all. Of course, they've been a sport fish in Missouri for years. So
Jerry Parker says
skipjack.
Jerry Parker says spotted bass identify as spotted skipjack.
Cut them babies up, and I wouldn't advise it, but
I like them live.
Yeah, I'm thinking that would be really good, but I would cut them up if it was allowed.
Danny Stone Outdoors says, Mark, have you ever eaten ceviche? Yeah, Danny, enough to know that it's spelled with a C, and absolutely love the stuff.
That's great.
205 Wild Action says spotted bass going into the Crisco Lake.
I agree. I agree. Somebody else posted a while ago, and yeah, that's a perfect place for them. Like somebody posted earlier, they're extremely aggressive, and in Missouri, all bass are considered panfish. Even if it's 10 pounds, it's still considered a panfish, which I find very interesting. Actually, it is. I think when bass get really, really big, it's kind of like a 110, 20, 30-pound blue. It's a freak of nature. They all don't get that big. Just one every once in a while, and some of it gene pool, and some of it's just it's eating right and constantly never stops. And some of it's just things they're a freak of nature. But who doesn't want to catch one? I'd like to catch a 10-pound bass on a fly rod.
I wouldn't mind catching one. I've caught. I never. It's been a long time since I went out and targeted bass, but I've caught some dandies out there bait fishing. My PB came with bycatch for bait fishing at like 6 pounds 4 ounces, and I ain't gonna lie, on 4-pound test that was fun to catch 100%.
Absolutely. Double Hook Amy says peanut oil pond for him, no Crisco Lake. Peanut oil is what my buddy Jack used to always use. He wouldn't use anything else.
I've been using avocado oil to fry my fishing. Thanks to Betty Jean. She's telling me to use that stuff. And if you want a neutral oil that tastes like absolutely nothing to cook your fish in and highlight the taste of the fish and the breading and the seasoning you're using, I highly recommend it. It ain't cheap. I don't know how it is compared to peanut oil, which is expensive.
Peanut oil is expensive too, yeah.
Yeah. Pick some up over at Costco. They sell the big 1-quart jugs of the stuff at least. So you can get there and do a shallow fry. It'll be good. Danny says, hard to look at a 30 to 40-pound striper and think panfish.
I agree. And I tell you guys, talking about stripers, Danny, if you enjoy striper fishing in the Midwest, one of the best lakes that I'm aware of is down at Mountain Home, Arkansas, Norfolk. Norfolk is loaded with giant 30 and 40 and 50-pound stripers. So they fish for them year round down there practically. And I'm not saying that they don't get ice down there, because I'm sure they do at sometimes, but they're even further south than I am, Mark.
I used to catch a lot of hybrids on the Tippecanoe River when my parents had the place down there, and they fight like crazy. They're hard fighting fish. I imagine the big stripers are even meaner and nastier than that, though. But
yeah,
to this day, I remember how hard they hit a stick bait, and it would be a blast. It would make your day.
Mike Irwin says he's back. He hates Walmart. Join the crowd, buddy.
Glad to have you. Glad you lived.
The only thing good about Walmart is it's 2 minutes from my house. That's the only thing good about it. If I need something, I can run in there and get it and get my ass right back out of that store as quick as I can. And we're in a small one. They don't have what you want most of the time. But if they do have it, it's usually not terribly busy, and you can get in and get out and be done with it. After 6, there won't be a handful of people in the whole store.
My favorite thing about Walmart, I got 2 favorite things about Walmart. First one is, when I get home, I usually got some powdered donuts. At least it used to be up until a couple of weeks. That was always good to have. Second favorite thing about Walmart is leaving.
That's right.
205 Action says, peanut oil is great, but it lasts a while. Oh.
You know what about this Walmart? My Walmart is so small, they don't even have self-checkouts. You get somebody to check you out on every one, because there's no self-checkouts in my Walmart. It's not big enough to justify put one of them in.
I am fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
David says peanut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, get them all from Sam's.
Yep.
They're cheap there.
That's the place to get them for sure. And right now, the last time I checked, Sam's was cheaper than the online places to buy that stuff. So
Danny says, been there, Lyle. I think he's talking about your small mart. I have an army buddy that go to visit from time to time.
Danny Stone better not come over here and not say hey to me.
I have heard that too. There's a brand of pancake mix out there. I forget the name brand. That they say if you dredge fish in it, wet fish into the dry batter, that it makes a heck of a batter.
Mark, something I wanted to ask you, Ben. We're on the fish frying, cleaning, cooking part of the show. Somehow get into food a lot, but I know one of your sponsors, Whisker Seeker, has some new stuff, fish frying stuff come out. Have you used any of that?
I have used plenty of that stuff. It's pretty good. It's not as good as Betty Jean's, but it's very good. And they got a spicy one too. If you guys want to try it out, I'm gonna have to plug it. Use my code MCC15. Save 15% if you're on there ordering stuff to begin with. You might as well get yourself some of that breading. It's a corn flour or cornmeal breading, just so you know. But if it's good stuff. I was very happy with it when I tried it.
Well, my friend Spencer Bauer, who does some stuff with them, he was talking about that, but he ate a drum. I just can't trust a guy like that anymore.
He ate a carp 2-in-1 a long time ago. Remember that one?
An Asian carp.
Not Asian. I'm thinking common carp too, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's all right. I eat them. I don't mind them too bad. You get the bones out of them, and there's a way to do that. But yeah, when you eat drum, your level of how powerful you are in my mind starts going down. And I love old Spencer. I really do.
Don't hold that against us, Lyle. Don't hold that. I know I'm eating sushi. You're probably talking about.
I can't do that. It did look, the plate looked really good. It really did, but I don't have a desire for it.
David says, I put my fish in milk until I'm ready to fry them, and then just dip them in a cornmeal seasoned and fry them. Nothing else. Sounds good to me.
No hot sauce?
Well, that's afterwards. I've tried marinating fish in hot sauce, Lyle, and I'm going to say it might be an unpopular opinion, but you can't taste the hot sauce after you fry it. That's why the hot sauce has got to go afterwards.
I want to try like Spencer does. Did he mix it with this cornmeal stuff?
Well, you know what I think the advantage to doing, he uses Frank's, and I've used Frank's in the past. I've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
Whether it's crappie or perch, I've done it with catfish, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's good for a different reason. You don't taste, outside the seasoning, you don't taste the spice. But the vinegar in that Frank's acts just like milk, or if you put it in a pickle juice to get rid of that fishy blood, fatty taste, that fishy taste, that neutralizes it. I think I think that's what does it. I think that's why a lot of people like doing that.
Here is a comment I can't wait to get to. Drum is delicious boiled in crab boil. Now, I have not tried it that way. I will say I've had it fried in a skillet. I've had it deep fried. I've had it baked in the oven. None of it was fit to put in your mouth, but I have not tried it in a crab boil. And I got to tell you, Mark, the boil that I was involved with down south when we was down at Winter Blues on Wheeler one year was not a crab boil, but it was shrimp and crawdads and all that. A boil's got to be a boil. That might make them drum fit to eat. That just might do it. Because
I was going to say
nothing come out of that pan that I didn't like.
Yeah, you can pretty much put anything in crab boil, and it'll pretty much taste pretty good. I ain't not even gonna lie about that.
Maybe I should start keeping them nasty bastards in.
I think you should.
Well, they ain't no good for bait. Let's face it, you can't catch nothing on them. I've tried them my entire life, never had a bite on one yet. I know Chad, he told me he catches them all the time. He tries to use them for bait, nothing bites. It might actually run them off.
I've never caught a fish on cut drum. I think I might have caught some on a live one underneath one of them big Whisker Seeker floats. But other than that, I've had limited luck with them for sure.
Yeah. Danny says, I'm telling you, equal parts of brown mustard and Frank's hot sauce. Dredge your fish in that, then use your favorite dry batter. Golden, crispy, and freaking delish. Sounds pretty good.
You had me at Golden Crispy because that's
Yeah, I know.
fish.
Had me at brown mustard and Frank's. I do like some Frank's. I'm having trouble with that. Yeah.
David says, I put heat in my seasoning. I just use my dehydrated peppers for my garden. Dehydrated peppers will kick your butt because that's concentrating that heat right there for sure.
Lance is getting a little out of hand. He's using sriracha.
Sriracha's
pretty good. Warm, isn't it?
No, actually, it's not. It's more garlic than anything. I don't think it's that hot.
I don't like the real hot stuff. It makes me uncomfortable to eat it. Let's say if Josh eats it and he's smiling, it's too hot for me.
Yeah, Josh will probably agree.
I don't get too hot for Josh, I don't think.
Josh will agree with me. Sriracha isn't that hot. It's super garlicky, though. That's for sure.
Well, he would know because he loves it hot. I like it hot. I just can't handle it that way anymore.
Oh, I got some hot sauce sent from Miss Rhonda, Fishing for Whiskers. Oh, my goodness. I love that stuff. I just had some today with dinner. It was delicious.
He was talking about that. I've got some sauce that I bought last year. I haven't even used yet. It's got bacon in it.
That'll work. I had bacon. Me and the dogs had bacon for breakfast today. It was delicious.
Lance, any certain kind that you like better than one or the other? David Smith, welcome, buddy. Says, I use pancake batter in my hush puppy recipe. I might eat that recipe.
I got a hush puppy recipe that I'm keeping close to my chest. I'm not letting that go for nothing.
Not even your old buddy Lyle?
You'd have to eat them first. This way you know what they're supposed to taste like, and you don't make a mistake.
I see. Jerry Parker's back. He says a little Louisiana hot sauce marinated on fish, then Andy's Red, pretty tasty. It's hard to beat Andy's Red in my mind. And I've tried every time I see a new kind of fish breading, I'll buy it to try it. But I've not ever had anything that I like better than Andy's Red that's not doctored up, just straight out of the package. That's the best I've found.
I'm a beer batter guy, so I like a lot of the Shore Lunch products.
You just like to drink the beer when you're cooking.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay.
One for me, one for the batter. That's usually the way it goes.
Lance, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Greg Burgess says you can boil a trailer hitch in crab oil and it will taste good. Greg, I got to go with that. You're 100% spot on with that.
I think we're adding to Lyleisms, the list of them.
I think we are. Oh, did you get those stupid Dosh out? I did. Danny, them was hilarious. Thank you so much. I laughed so hard at them things.
You liked it so much, Danny, he sent me one.
Yeah, I did. Well, I thought it was funny enough that you'd enjoy it after having Woody. Because Woody's pretty cool.
Woody was cool. And then we had Winnie before Woody, too. So
yeah, that's before my time. But Woody, I liked Woody. Woody reminded me, he's a little darker in color, but he reminded me of Rusty. And I had Rusty from the time he was about this long until I had to put him down for having cancer. But I hardly ever went anywhere that dog didn't go.
Yeah.
And he was not mean. He was never aggressive towards anybody. I think you could have hit me in the arm or anything, and I don't think he would ever bit anybody. But there was times when somebody would sit down beside me and he'd get between us. But he never
probably.
Yeah, but he never offered to be mean to anybody. And I had one that was really mean one time, but we've had a lot of dachshunds over the years, and one we got now is just, oh my God.
They're good dogs. I think the Benoit ladies have one too. I think
the
cute dogs.
They sure do. But I enjoy them dog things. You know, the shorts that they put on Facebook and stuff that trying to get people to watch those. If they got dogs in them, I pretty much watch all of them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just a dog guy. I can't help it. I was out cutting limbs out of the tree today, and I make Gidget come up there and sit in the shade beside me, so I don't have to watch her and see where she's going, because she will chase a cat. She never catches the damn things, but she chases them.
My dog has a passion for. We got these 13-line squirrels in our property now, Lyle, all over the place. And my dogs, I can't open a door without them busting out like thoroughbreds on the Kentucky Derby. They got to go straight out that back door to try and get a jump on them.
Dude, When this little dachshund Cindy jumps out that door, if you don't have a leash rope on her, buddy, the race is on because she's gone. And she'll go around every yard in the neighborhood wide open. And she got down behind the old alley behind here that has not been used in forever. And I got Gidget out, and her and I was walking down the street, and there that little turd was, plumb down to the end of the street. And I stopped, and Gidget sat down, and here she come wide open. I thought, well, she's going to come up here, and I'll pick her up. Nope, right on past me. It was a block from the house. I turned around and watched her, and she run right up there and run right in the garage. She was looking for something to drink. She'd run so much. She was hot. Then she was out of the garage, in the garage, out of the garage. I thought, man, come on, Gidge, we got to go. We don't get back up or she'll be taken off again. But she was so hot that she wanted something to drink. And she got in there, and I shut the garage door, and it was her ass in. Dave says he's going to have to put down his other dogs and she has cancer. I went through that a few years ago. It's a tough thing, Dave, and I feel sorry for you. And they're like losing a family member, but they're my favorite kind. I love my labs because I duck hunted for so many years, but them dachshunds are hard to replace.
They're probably my favorite lap type dog for sure.
Jerry, a black and tan, short hair male. I don't need another dog. Don't want another dog.
Jerry, does she take Visa? I'll get to work on Lyle.
They're my favorites. They are my favorites.
Well, Lyle, you got anything else for the good people in chat?
I'm trying to think of anything. I don't know. I thought I'd found a place where I could go live and catch some bluegill and stuff the other day, but again, signal, no signal, signal, no signal. What's the hell starting up a deal like that? And
I'm telling you, we just got to get you that Starlink set up. You can go live anywhere.
What is it that they changed over here? Starlight. Fidelity sold out to Starlight, or it got taken over, or whatever.
I have no idea.
Maybe it was the same thing, but probably not. Dave says Manny was a black and tan short hair. Yeah, I remember seeing that dog in some of your videos, if I remember right. But I like my dogs and stuff. But we're going to do some video stuff, I guess. The only way we're going to be able to promote what we're doing, because where I fish, there hasn't been any place with a phone signal, and I try it all the time. I have the camera equipment and all the stuff with me, tripods and everything, and thank you, Joe, in the truck all the time, but just never got a phone signal. If something happened, I couldn't even call out. There's just no tower. We're out in the middle of nowhere. But it is what it is. But we enjoy it a lot, and it was good to get the boat out last week. I'll tell you that, Mark.
I'm sure it was. I know it's always good whenever I get mine out, no matter how short or long the time it's been.
There is nothing better than sitting in the boat, whether the fish are biting or not. I can sit there and just watch the other boats and ski-doos go by, as long as they don't get too close and mess with me. And if the fish don't bite, I'm having a good time. I put that, either get underneath a bridge where it's shaded, or put my top up where the sun don't hit me and burn me real bad. I'm good to go.
I got to work on that. Me, I need to catch fish.
I do too, but I don't have to. You'll get there when you get older.
I hope so.
All right. Chad, the boys will be on tomorrow night. You guys need to check that out. Well, Catfish Weekly Monday.
That's right. We got Stan and Jody, and then Jeff's having his live stream on the weekend. Don't forget about Eric B's Wing Challenge tournament. If I'm around, I'll be tuning into that for sure. So
trying to get the calendar up because I forgot what we got going on Monday night. I should know, but if you give me just a second.
They'll be there anyways, Lyle.
What's that?
They'll be there anyways.
Probably so. We got to guess.
While you're looking that up, let me also say I put out some videos. They're maintenance videos for my boat in general. If you guys want to swing by, check them out. Oh, thank you very much. if you want to swing by and check them out, I'd appreciate it. Watch them all the way through for me. That might help in the algorithm. But hopefully these are more or less not looking to be a blockbuster hit, but more like a long-term investment. I worked pretty hard on those videos. And you guys can also see how close my boat is to hitting the top of my garage door. Oh my goodness.
Well, I put it up and then deleted it somehow, so I'm not going to get to it. I asked the guy the other night. He's coming up for Monday. I believe it's Austin.
Okay, cool.
Fever. I believe that's who it is coming on Monday night with us. I'll have to get my calendar straightened out, but I think Austin's going to be there. Well, I got stuff lined up for Catfish Weekly for the next 3 weeks, so I'm going to get me a 200 of course 4-stroke put on a pontoon. Wow. There you go. What size motor did you take off that pontoon?
I don't. He's just saying that because my video is about my 200 force.
Oh. Eric Pierce, welcome, buddy. Glad to see you made it in before we took off tonight. Thanks, everybody, for watching our show. We appreciate you being in here, and we'll be back next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Central.
And before we end it, go check out SK, 9 p.m. Central Time over on SK's Crappie Catch and Adventure. We'll head over.
Great show. You'll have a good time, I promise.
Good deal.
See you,
everybody.